things have changed on the world stage. And it's important to understand why. Well, you know I love history, and I read history, and I watch these documentaries like I'm an old man, but there's just something you see over and over and over again historically. You have this empire that rises, and they become super, super powerful. And that was us, the United States of America. And it still is us. I'm not saying we're not powerful, but the empire rises and it becomes very, very powerful. And once you become powerful as an empire, you will push your will, sorry about that, onto others. You will. You will enforce your will on others. As number one, America has done this for a long time, and I'm not complaining about that. That's what number one does. No, we want you to do this, so go do it. No, this is going to be ours. No, you stop doing this. You will enforce your will on others. As you do that, you will inevitably, and again, I'm not saying we're the bad guys, you will inevitably make enemies. As soon as you start making people do things, entire nations do things they don't really want to do, bad blood is going to follow along. You're going to make enemies, sometimes even quiet ones. They can't really do anything to you because you're number one, but they just sit and they seethe as they watch you grow, as they watch you push this guy around and that guy around. And then, eventually, this is historical, this is what happens every time, that massive empire starts to lose its way a little, starts to stumble and falter. And all those enemies you've made over time, they're starting to give you that side eye, and they're starting to look and they're starting to think, I wonder if I can get him now. No, I can't get him yet. Hey, let's keep our eye on it. I wonder if he's going to keep stumbling. If he keeps stumbling, maybe it's time to pounce. And then eventually that empire, as it starts to crumble from within and lose its way, that's what all major empires do, it will have something happen to it everyone can see. Normally, historically, it's a big battle or a big war where the big dog who's been smashing everybody for all this time ends up getting its butt kicked. And now all those countries that you've wronged or they think you've wronged, who've been giving you the side eye and they've been wanting your number one spot, now they think it's their time. They're licking their chops. What you're seeing happening right now on the world stage with Russia, China, and others is the world licking its chops. Not only because of Afghanistan. I mean, the President of the United States of America, he doesn't know anything. They're not scared of him. Even his advisors honestly admit it.
Do you think that Putin and Xi fear President Biden?
You'd have to ask them whether they fear or they not. Okay. It is not about fear. It's about President Biden advancing our foreign policy goals around the world. It's about President Biden revitalizing these alliances and partnerships. It's about President Biden and what he's doing to preserve our national security interests around the world. That's what we're focused on.
No, it is about fear. And this is something that these namby-pamby people in this country never seem to understand anymore. These people who spent way too much time in college philosophy class and not enough time out in the real world. Foreign policy is actually all about fear. I know that's kind of ugly, but will I do this? What's going to happen to me if I do this? Can I get away with this? Should I be afraid of doing it? Foreign policy is all about fear. You want other nations afraid of your wrath. And I realize in this touchy-feely society we have, you're not supposed to say that, but that is how you know you're powerful, when other nations fear making you angry. And when the president gets up at the United Nations and can't complete sentences, countries don't fear us anymore.
Simply put, the 21st century results are badly needed. They're needed to move us along. That starts with the United Nations, starts right now. We need to evolve our institutions and drive creative new partnerships. Let me be clear. Certain principles of our international system are sacrosanct.
China, Russia, they watched Afghanistan, and now they see that the President of the United States of America can't walk, he can't talk, can't really do anything. What kind of side eye do you think they're giving us now? Oh, and did I mention he's also corrupt on top of all these things. You remember Viktor Shokin, right? Ukrainian prosecutor. You do remember what he had to say. Not only is Joe Biden incompetent, he's bought.
There were illegal activities engaged in by Burisma. Founder and CEO of Burisma started bringing in people who could provide protection for him. Hunter Biden was among them. My firm personal conviction is that, yes, this was the case. They were being bribed. The fact that Joe Biden gave away $1 billion in U.S. money in exchange for my dismissal, my firing, isn't that alone a case of corruption?
And that brings us to where we are with this axis of evil forming in the planet. Iran, China, Russia, they mean business. Together, that's a big boy superpower. China alone is a big boy superpower. And another thing about those history books, when you read them, these major empires eventually get toppled by one of those ones who was giving him the side eye, is usually the case.